and we're going to bring on the victorious head coach now to join us. Again, the Sports Zone Radio Game of the Week presented by Hatch Toyota. Floyd Simmons here as we wrap it up. Snowflake beats Show Low 24-14. And another opportunity. We get a lot of these chances because this guy and his team, they win a lot of football games. The winning head coach tonight, Kay Solomon, joins us for Snowflake. Coach Solomon, congratulations.
Thank you. We're glad you like to cover us. We enjoy having your coverage, what you guys do. Congratulations on your 1,000th game tonight. That's an awesome achievement for you.
Well, Coach, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I got this great football, by the way, somewhere around here. I don't know if it's, I want it, maybe I hadn't really shown that up on the, we got stuff crashing over there. Oh, yeah, if we got this on camera, I got this great football. Can you see it? There it is, the 1,000th broadcast.
I signed it on there somewhere.
Oh, you signed it?
I did, so, yep.
Coach, thank you for that. I'm going to cherish that. I really am. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you for that as well. It just means that I'm almost as old as you is what I think it means, Coach.
I think we're as old as each other, aren't we? Pretty much. So
we're pretty close. We're
plugging along.
We've said it before. I'll say it again. We played against each other. We graduated same year, 1986, and played on the football field against each other way back, Coach. And I've said it to you before. I can still see you coming around, pulling around, trying to lead the way for Russell Peterson, and just smashing me on the corner more than once.
Russell probably beat me around the corner more times than anything else, but I am a legend in my own mind. I thought I was a pretty good football player.
Well, I know for a fact you were an outstanding football player. I played corner, you played tackle, you came pulling, and one time I came up and I tried to get lower than you, and I hit you right there on your thigh pad, and you killed me. I mean, you ran right over the top of me and kept going, and you were blocking guys downfield. You were a little bit better football player than I was, but we played you tough. Those Roadrunners played you tough.
Always tough games back then, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Well, how about speaking of tough games, this one tonight, Show Low came ready to play. This was their season, Coach. Sure. I mean, they're not going to the playoffs. They came out tonight trying to spoil what's going on for Snowflake, try to hand you guys a loss.
We told the kids all week this is all they got left. I mean, they hopefully get a game against Holbrook. Holbrook's been solid at keeping their schedule this year and next week. But the one chance they had to do something that was significant was to steal a win from us. And I don't even think I'd call it steal a win. I watched them play Blue Ridge. I watched them play Payson. They've been in every single ball game and played tough in spite of the injuries. I got to give credit to Coach Maxwell and Coach Clough and especially to those boys. I mean, they were suiting up and playing and doing the best that they could with injuries, and even Keegan Clark coming back tonight. A lot of credit to him for coming back from a really tough injury and 6 weeks of not playing. It's hard to step on the field, but he showed what kind of an athlete he was tonight. Really impressive stuff.
Well, Keegan scored on Show Low's second offensive play of the game to give them the early lead, 7-0. He scored a 77-yard touchdown run. First time he touched the ball since he got that injury back in week 2 of the season. An amazing, thunderous way for him to come back onto the field. He wasn't in game shape. He admitted that to me at halftime. You could just see it. He hadn't had the reps and the sprints and the contact in practice, but he came out and he left everything he could on the field for his team. It was that kind of effort from them that kept them in the game and, in my opinion, gave you a great test that you needed in week number 10.
Absolutely. We're happy to have that, and we'll be happy to have it next week. I think Winslow's going to bring it too. They've got something to play for still. They're a real good football team, and hopefully can sneak into the playoffs. But it'll be a little tougher with their loss tonight. And of course, we're not planning on losing to them next week, but we'll have our hands full. A dogfight with them next week, but. Tale of two halves for us tonight. Yeah. I'm proud of our kids for the way they bounced back that second half. I was telling somebody today, over the past 10 years, it feels like we've played 9 times up on this field. We haven't, we've played back and forth, but it's hard to remember the games in Snowflake against Show Low because usually we come up here and it's just so tough to come out with a win on this field. And that first half was a challenge for us to get going and get out of our own way a little bit. We made plenty of mistakes that held ourselves back, but, again, give credit to Show Low and even the second half, we came out on fire and did some good things, but they they didn't roll over. They came back and played hard, and they were knocking on the door to make that a 3-point game again. So our boys played really well and did an awesome job. Our offensive linemen finally got it going. Our defensive line, I feel like, did a great job all night long, other than very early on, but we made a few adjustments, and they did a great job of stopping things. And once we got the offensive line going, went back to that old I formation with some under center stuff that we did earlier in the year, and it's a good look with those two running backs, Taryn and Brigg, out of the backfield. That's just a really good look for us, and so that's something we need to remember is in our arsenal and keep using it.
How about coming out, starting the game with Caden Cantrell, right? You lined up in that power set. You ran some wishbone. You had Bradley Ruiz running up, leading the way. Just a pretty significantly different wrinkle, certainly for me to see.
Yeah, and we've been running that as our inside the 10-yard line set for offense for the past few weeks, and it's a good look for us. When we just want to grind out yards, and we wanted to set a tone tonight, and we did manage to roll out some first downs, but Sholo's stout up front too. I got to give credit to Mr. Avila and Mr. Lee and those other linemen up on the front line and their linebackers. They play good football, and our kids had their hands full, but I feel like by the time we were done, our players found their footing and got the job done.
Talking with head coach Kay Solomon of Snowflake, they win tonight 24-14 over Sholo. Coach, a moment ago you were talking about remembering these games here at Sholo more than the ones you played against Sholo at your place at Snowflake, and I think a part of that is because Sholo has had your number here a number of different times. They've played well against you on their field. Paul Morrow told me he remembered the losses way better and longer than the victories. They stuck with him. Do you also have that same thing?
I would definitely agree with that. I know, like I said, I actually look back at records, and because it's just in my mind, it feels like most of the matchups that we've had with Sholo have been here on this field, and that I've been involved with as a coach anyway. And they've always been tough games like this, and this is the first time in the last two trips up here, we've come up with good football teams, but walked away with losses. And again tonight, Sholo brings it. Whether you're playing them here or whether we're playing them down there, they play well, and our kids have to rise to the challenge, and they did a good job of that tonight.
Coach, I talked to Brigg Turley, I talked to Nick McVicker, who both affirmed to me that this was perhaps the best and hardest working week of practice that the Lobos have had all season long. Are you and the Lobos, are you ready for the playoffs 2 weeks away?
We're gonna get ready. I told the boys after the game, I said, again, by Wednesday this week, you're probably not going to like us very much, but we're going to get you ready to play Winslow, and then next week we're going to get ready to play whoever they put in front of us. And these playoff matchups that are kind of lining up right now, there's not going to be any gimmies, I don't think, in that first round. Hopefully we'll hold serve and get a home game, but we may be hosting one of the better teams in the state over in Snowflake for that first round if we can manage a win against Winslow next week.
Well, Coach, after practice this week, I'm not sure how much your players are going to like you, but we still love you over here at Sports on Radio, okay?
Thank you.
Congratulations on the win.
Thanks, Floyd. Thank you.
You got it.